Well, hey all, and welcome back. And I just got another package in from the Show Z store today, and I already know I'm going to like this. I can go ahead and save some time. The fact that it's a Dr. Wu Extreme Warfare micro-sized figure, I know I'm going to love it, because so far I've loved everything, and they've done a great job. But let's go ahead and get a few things out of the way, and that being the packaging. Packaging looks fine. It has got a decent illustration, Victor-looking illustration here. However, I think the Ultra Magnus looks pretty good. This is the Tactical Commander. On the side, a little bit more. Then some more. Then some more. Got a little Weibo card there. I need to probably scan that. I need to start using that website. And then on the back, we have a photograph of the figure in vehicle mode. And this little sticker right here tells you which version, because there are multiples. I actually have another one coming in, but I did not want to miss out, and they had this at Show Z, so I just grabbed the last thing they had. This is the gray test mold. So this one is all one color, prototype looking, and just to compare with the other packaging of Prime, just to show you, it is the same size, so that's nice for storage, and gives you an idea of the way things are going to be packed. So let's go ahead and get this guy out of the packaging and see if he's worthy of our collection. And here we have Ultra Magnus out of the packaging, so you guys can get a first look of what this one's about. Now, if you have been a Transformer fan for a long time, there is one thing that we've always been teased with, and I'm talking back the past 30 years, and that is gray prototypes. We would see these lovely gray prototypes that sometimes looked better than the painted version of the figures we got, and it was always sort of a cool thing. Now, that's exactly what this represents. This is like a gray prototype version of this mold. And the one thing I will say about this is I really feel like the gray allows the details to really pop out more. So I don't know if there's because a layer of paint maybe dulls those details a little bit, but frankly, it looks really good. We have the same truck mode we had for Prime before, and we've got the trailer for Ultra Magnus. And what's cool about this trailer mode is it looks like a trailer. I mean, it does not... We've been hoping for a more G1 looking combination figure for a long time, and here we have it in Micromaster scale. Now, as a car hauler, one thing I'll point out is you're not going to find a lot that fits on top of it. But since this is somewhat close to Micro Machine scale, you can put a couple of Micro Machines on the top that would act as a car hauler. And if you could find some of the smaller ones, maybe if you take this apart, you could actually fit one on the inside as well. So you could potentially have this displayed in car hauler mode. Another thing, we have two ports on the side here that allow you to mount the weapons. So we've got the blaster here, which would mount on one side. The one thing about my copy, though, we also have an axe, which is more of a Prime thing, but the peg hole on the side is smaller diameter than the hole that we got. So because of this, we're actually not going to get to fit. But what I did find is the peg hole will fit right here, and you can kind of get the axe to sit in there, at the very least for display mode, if you have to store it that way. Honestly, I would rather just put the axe in the box and be done with it. Speaking of the box, other things including the box are a card here, and what is kind of nice about this card is the fact that the color matches. I'm not sure if they will do that with all of them, but the fact that we have a gray card here and not a color one like we do with Prime, I kind of hope that we'll see recolored versions of this for each edition. But a little spoiler, I have another one on the way, and so I'll compare the two when it shows up. So make sure you guys are following me to see when that happens. One last thing in the packaging is the instructions, which look fairly straightforward and pretty typical for a Dr. Wu Warfare release. So we've got those there, we've got the card. Let's see how this guy compares with a few other things. So first of all, let's see how he is with the world's smallest Transformers. It's just a hair bigger, but I feel like it really accomplishes that same ultra small micro scale, and it does it a bit better. The truck mode looks better, more cohesive. The one flaw being we have a lack of a window, and we have the joints, and of course we don't have the head on there. I think there's things that probably could have been done to resolve that, but it would have made the figure cost more. And just for comparison, here is the Prime counterpart in its toy colors. And just to show you guys what I'm talking about with the details, you can see it's the exact same truck mode. And those details just pop so much more in this gray plastic. Now, mind you, I do like the color version a bit better as far as representing a character, but just as a display piece, and calling back to the teased prototypes of days of old, I really do dig this as a gray model. Now let's go ahead and check out his inner core robot mode. Now one note, when you do take him off of truck mode, there is no way of supporting it. That is sort of a downside, however, still a very minimal one, considering you're probably not going to store it like this. So let's go ahead and transform him. We've got the feet that pop forward. We've got these two side panels that will fold down over the legs. Then these legs telescope. They split. You can see the joint in the middle where they connect, or the pegs in the middle where they connect. Then we can take the arms here, lower the wheel first. That actually makes it a little bit easier. And then you can pull this arm out. Do the same on the other side. There's enough room to pull that out. And we can rotate the shoulders. And then there's two things we need to do. We can fold these wheels up, rotate the top of the cab, compress the torso, move the arms into the correct position, and then fold up and flip around the head. And you can see here, look at how sharp and gorgeous these details are. I mean, sure, it is the same as the Prime that we had before, but in this nice gray color. And if we want to go ahead and compare him with Prime, you can see just how the differences in color make this figure look. We do have two identical figures here. However, the gray with the prototype theme, it just looks really sharp. It looks like a more sophisticated sculpt, even though it's identical. Something about adding all these bright colors on there does turn it into more of a toy, which is really interesting. I actually kind of think this would have been an interesting figure to have painted pewter to call back to those old Transformer metallic figures they used to have. But this has the same articulation. We have, the typical articulation. We have the same thing as everything Primes has. The ball joints at the shoulder, ball joints at the elbows. We can rotate the chest. We have an ab crunch, thanks to transformation. Head's on a ball joint. We have hips on a ball joint, knee bends, toes on a ball joint. So we have plenty of articulation in this figure that is absolutely tiny. And I think this is just, these are some of my favorite things coming out lately, is the fact that Dr. Wu makes these awesome little things. And of course, for comparison's sake, let's go ahead and get the world's smallest out here, just so you can see how amazing these figures are, considering they're about the same size. This one has, slightly less articulation than G1, and these have articulation kind of comparable to a deluxe figure now, all in Micromaster scale. Well, let's go ahead and get these guys out of the way, and then we can transform him into armored up mode. Now the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to move him over here. I'm going to take these weapons off. Don't need the axe really at all. And then we're going to disconnect this from here. We're trying to get these arms out. So there we got the arms. And that should allow us to pop that part off. So we've got that there. And then we're going to fold the arms up. And we need to take the missiles off. And we're going to straighten everything out. If you notice, these really resemble the old transformation from the original Ultra Magnus figure. So we want to actually have this straightened like so, and then we're going to fold this out. And you can actually see how the robot mode is already forming. And we've got these ape arms, which I actually think is pretty cool for maybe some alternate modes. But next we're going to fold them in half. And so far the transformation is actually pretty intuitive and pretty clever, honestly, because you're getting remnants of the old G1 figure as well as modern engineering. And then we can just rotate it like so. And look at that, we've already got our armor. That is so neat on how simple this transformation is. And then we can go ahead and take this and put our rockets back on. And then we're going to set this aside. So there, I'm going to lay that like that for now. The next, we're going to come back and we're going to do the head, which you can see in here. And this just comes out like so. You can get a closer look at this head sculpt. You can look how detailed that is. You can see the little goggles, the mouth. It's all in a ball joint. I think that's really great. And for this part, we're just going to fold this back and rotate the head around. We can take the two legs here and we can split them apart. So this is the bulk of the armor. I mean, it really does a nice clean job of coming apart. So then we're going to come in here and we're going to assemble everything. And this is the part that might get a little tricky. And I like to do the boots first, just because I always thought that was kind of a visual look with Ultra Magnuses that I liked, where you can kind of update that part. So this will go in here, that will close, and that's it. And look what we get. We get a little pivot on the ankle after we install that. So that's a nice piece of added articulation. So then we can add the next one. And there we go. We've got our boots, which is already pretty cool looking. I really think they should do a Power Master Prime, and I'm probably going to do another Photoshop. If you saw my other Photoshop before that I did of the Micromaster Erector. So now here is what we need to do. We're going to take this head, I'm going to rotate it like so, and push it back. And then we need to transform the arms to be like this. Okay, and then we're going to come in, this trailer hitch here, and that's going to hold this on. So let's go ahead, see if this is a better approach. So if we can take this, snap that on, and then slide this in. And you can see how the pegs in here go in the top of the arms. And then this is going to fold in. And there's a peg on the side. And another peg on the side. Close like so. And it just locks. And then we have our Ultra Magnus. And I don't know about you, but I really, really, really like this. I think this is a gorgeous looking figure. So let's get close. And so you can see all this molded detail in here. Wonderful head sculpt. Lots of good articulation. I mean, not really anything different articulation-wise other than what we already had. It was already a good figure, and this doesn't really hamper that. A little bit more weight added on the hip joint, but I still think it will be stable overall. It holds just fine. And then we also have our weapons here. So we can take the rifle, slide it in the hand, and there we have them. This is just awesome. There's a back view. Now, some people might not be a huge fan of this portion, the fact that you can kind of see the head in there, but this is Micromaster scale. This is something doing more, and if we want to, we're going to bring it out here. If we want to talk about faulty Transformers, we have the Siege version, and it has those wonky hands that stuck out of it. So it's not like they did it that much better. But there you go. There's the size. That's how much bigger he gets with this armor add-on. And this is just cool. I think this is a good option for someone if they want to customize and do some painting, or if they just want that gray prototype, because I think out of all of them, even though there's certain colors I do like better because of what they reference, I think this one just has the sharpest, cleanest look as far as showing off those details of the molding. And let's go ahead and do a quick size comparison. On the right, we have the world's smallest. After that, the Prime Commander, then the Tactical Commander that we're reviewing today. Then we have Legends Class Prime, and then we have Voyager Optimus Prime, which is actually the same size as Leader Class Optimus Prime. Move him out of the way, and just so you guys can get a look, there is the Siege Ultra Magnus. And as you can see, even though this is a pretty large leader class figure, I do prefer the micro scale that we have from Dr. Wu. And here are two other Dr. Wu figures I reviewed not that long ago, just to show you guys how this can look as a team. And I have something here I can finally use these MicroMasters with. And what this is the Micro Machine Optimus Prime base for their transfer crossover. I have several other Micro Machine bases, and these all scale very well for doing little displays with them, for taking photos, or just putting on your shelf. I think that's one reason I enjoy these figures so much, is because that gives me a wide variety of little bases that I already have in my collection that give me something to display them with. When it comes to space, that's something a little bit more difficult to do with regular size Transformers. With that said, this is another Dr. Wu figure I'm very happy to have gotten, and I got mine from Shozi Store, so if you want to get a copy of yours, I'll put a link in the description. But like always, let us know in the comments below if this is worthy of your collection, like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.